Hey, how you guys doing? Welcome to my channel. Today I decided to make a video about one of the fastest expanding companies, one of the most advertised company out there on the internet nowadays, and one of the most talked about company. Today we're going to talk about SuperEgo Holding, Floyd Inc., Windy City, Rocket. There's a lot of companies under that one umbrella of SuperEgo Holding. Companies in Chicago, Illinois. I decided to make this video. I see a lot of videos online. I've seen like people making bad videos. I've seen people making good videos, and like I just realized there's so much like misinformation and like bad info. Okay, like just like every company, a lot of people, I mean, some people will have bad experiences, some will have good, but overall there's so much like misinformation. Like just people are like talking, so even the guys that are talking like good stuff about the company, like the like that one bald ugly guy that's like showing his paychecks or whatever, and it's like, oh, you made 10,000 gross with $1,000 of gas. Like the math ain't mathing, bro. Like you know what I mean? Like if you're gonna make something, at least like share like real information. So I decided to make a video like 100% just the truth. I've been a SuperEgo for about a year and a half. I think it's about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And I just want to share my experience. As you guys can see, obviously I'm a truck driver. I'm not some office guy to make like a video talking about some stuff that don't even make sense like some of these guys do. So first like the good experiences. When the market was good, I was grossing 8,000 to 10,000 a week, and I was bringing home around like 3,500, 4,000, around that number. As everybody knows, how gas doubled, the rates stay the same, and all that. Now that the market slowed down, I'm usually around like 7,000 to 8,000, and I'm usually home on weekends, most of them. I mean, everybody knows that nowadays, like, you have like half of your money goes to fuel, and then another 30% goes for the bills, for the truck insurance, trailer, and all that other stuff, tolls, and all that other stuff. So I usually bring home 2,000 to 3,000 a week right now that the market is down and all that. Usually average like $1.7 to $2 a mile. So so far I've been doing pretty good. I mean, I see a lot of like bad stuff on the internet and all that. The biggest problem that I believe that's going on is a lot of guys, they come into a company and they want to be owner operators, and they come with $10 in their pocket. That's like the biggest problem that I see with people. They come with $10 in their pocket, absolutely no money, and they want to start off as an owner operator. So like, how can you start with no money? Like, obviously the smart thing the smart thing would be to at least like first maybe rent or something and get your money up, and then when you have like $10,000 saved up or something, then you start your own company. Like, these guys come, they want to be the owners, but they don't even know what all comes with that. Like, a lot of these guys, like, I see they're complaining about like a recap tires, the fixing the truck, the maintenance, all that stuff. But I mean, at the end of the day, you have to know it's a business. Like, if you don't have the money, you lease the truck, and you don't have the money to fix it, you don't have the money to buy a tire when you get it flat on the road, like, and then you have to call the guys, and then they get the tire. Of course, it's a business, so of course they're gonna get the cheapest tire that they can find. Of course they're gonna put a recap on your trailer, on your truck. They're office people. Like, how do they know that you're hauling 45K every day and that recap tire is gonna fall apart in 3 months? You know what I mean? They don't know. They just see, okay, we saved $50 on a tire on 1,000 trucks, or let's say 1,000 tires. $50, that's $50,000, you know? Like, first you have to understand it's a business. So when you call them and they have to pay for it, and then later on take it out of your paycheck or whatever, however you guys do it, you know, they're gonna put whatever the cheapest option there is, you know, because it's a business. A lot of you guys are like, oh man, you know, I don't want this, I don't want that. Well, then pay for it. Get your owner operator. You have your own company. Pay for what you want. You know, nobody's forcing you. You know, for them to get you whatever they want to get you. You know, so a lot of guys, that's like one of the biggest problems I see. They come with like no money, and then they start off like they lease a truck. It's a gamble. Like, you lease a even brand new truck with 0 miles, it can break down in 2 weeks. DEF filters, a lot of this like DEF, especially if you go to like West Coast, a lot of the DEF you get at them stations, like, it's like flour. Like, even if you spill it, like, try spill it on like on the truck or on the floor, like, it turns into a flour within like a couple minutes. Filters fill up. I mean, I think DEF filters right now, it's like $6,000 just to get, you know, just to get them like cleaned and all that. Wherever they do, they like cook them or whatever. So when you're getting into a truck and you have $100 in your account and the truck breaks down in 2 weeks, and then you're like, oh, they beat me. Like, they didn't really beat you. Like, you know, like, stuff happens. You have to be ready when you start. Like, you have to have some of your own money. Otherwise, they pay for it, and then you're starting in negatives. You know, like, you start first month, you're negative like $5,000-$10,000, you know? And it's not that it's bad trucks. It can happen with a brand new truck. I had a brand new truck in 2017, I believe. Brand new. It had maybe like 40,000 miles on it. It needed an engine rebuilt, which was like $20,000. Like, when it was hot, it would like barely start. Like, if you like shut it off at a gas station, you fill up the gas, and you get back in to like leave, like, it will barely start, you know? And it was brand new. So took it into a dealership. They were like, first, like, it's injectors, and they did the injectors, and they're like, it's the heads, and they did that. Like, Koslama, it happens with brand new trucks. That's like the thing you guys have to understand. Like, it's not like they have bad trucks and they're like pushing them into your hands. Even brand new trucks, like, stuff can happen, you know? That's part of the business. So you can't really blame them for that. Another thing I see, a lot of guys, like, man, a lot of guys, I don't know. I don't know if it's like inexperience or what, but a lot of these guys, they like expect to be like babysat. If you don't know yourself, like, the cost as an owner op, you have to know your cost. Like, what does that truck cost you per day? Even if it's sitting, what's that truck cost you per day? If it's $300 a day, So let's say you have like, I don't know, let's say you have like 3,500, 4,000 payment a month. What's the trailer like? $1,200, $1,000 a month. Insurance another $1,000. Like, you have to know your cost per day. Like a lot of these guys, like, you're sitting losing days. You lose day waiting for a load that's like $250 a mile, and you lose 2 days waiting for this load when you could have made more money doing 2 loads at $1.70 without losing a day. Like, the worst thing, because the bill is the same. If you gross 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000, you still have the same cost. You still have the same cost for that truck, you know? You still have the same payment. You still have the same insurance. You still, you know, the only thing that changes is the fuel. So you have to know the cost per day. What's that truck cost you running, and what's it cost you when it's not running? So if your truck is sitting 5 days, it's costing you $1,500. You know, like, you have to account for that. Right now that the market is bad, basically, if you're doing loads to get like the quantity, you're definitely gonna make more money than waiting for a good paying load. So let's say like you do 2,000 miles a week for $4,000. Let's say you burned like, I don't know, let's say like $1,000 in gas. So that's 3,000 right there. You have around 1,500 payments for your truck trailer insurance. So now you're down. You were at 4,000. You're down to 3. So now you're down to 1,500. So you drove 2 mile. Your average is $2 a mile, and you're down to $1,500. Okay. Plus, I mean, you have tolls and all that, tax and all that stuff. But if you drove 3,000 miles that week for, let's say, 5,500, I don't know what's the average to, like 1.7 a mile, you will get a bigger paycheck than if you drove for $2 a mile, because you did the quantity, you know. I see a lot of guys, they're sitting, they only want to do loads at like $2 a mile, and they sit, they lose 1 day, they lose 2 days. Come on, like, it's simple math. You're better off doing a load. Let's say a load is 750 miles for I don't know, let's say 1,400. So you're better off doing that load than driving 300 miles for $1,000. Like, you get more left over. You're burning extra $200-300 worth of gas, but you're making extra $700 for a day, you know? I see a lot of guys, like, they're just, the only thing that they're worried about is what's the cost per mile. Like, how was it? Is it $2 a mile? Then I'll take in the load. Like, now that when the market is good, you can do that. When the market is bad, like, you have to go for the quantity, you know? You're better off having $1,500 loads every day. Let's say you're doing 700 miles a day. You're better off having $1,400 a day than doing 3 loads for $2 a mile and grossing like $5,000 because you're only getting $1,000 paycheck. So, like, you have to know your cost per day, and then you know exactly how much you have to make every day to make your profit. I see a lot of guys, they're like, they take the loads, and then when they get the paycheck, they're like, well, I didn't make no money. Well, you didn't make no money because you don't know your cost. Like, you don't know nothing. Like, you're owner operator, but you don't know nothing at all. Like, so that's where guys make a lot of mistakes. They're not ready to be an owner operator, but they want to be one, you know. A lot of guys just rush. They're like first year in the business and they just want to become the owner, you know. Like, come on, man. Another thing, dispatching. A lot of you guys expect to be like babysat, everything like figured out for you. Like, you have to take action. The company's growing so fast. Let's say they grow like 300 drivers every month. Where do you think they're gonna find 30 experienced dispatchers? They're not, you know. They hire guys, they're office guys. Most of them don't even know what a truck looks like. So like, you have to help them out. Like, you know, like, tell the guys, hey, if I'm going from if I'm like in Northeast, let's say you're in New York and you're heading to, let's say, Chicago. Okay, you have, if you're going down I-80, you don't have the tolls in Pennsylvania, but Ohio, Indiana, it becomes a turnpike. I-80 becomes a turnpike, and then you have tolls. It's like, I think it's like $70, $80 Ohio, $70, $80 Indiana, and then in Chicago you got like 5 tolls in a row. It's like 35, 15, 20, 20. So if you're getting a $2 mile per load going on that side, you have to account $300 worth of tolls. So that load it's not $2 a mile anymore. It drops it down to like 1.7. So you're better off getting a load for 1.8 going down south than going that way. If you're like down in like Pennsylvania and you're going to like Chicago and you have to go down I-76, just the Pennsylvania I-76 toll is $260 for trucks. So if you get a load going that way, 500 miles for, I don't know, let's say $1,000, you have to account just for that toll. You're down to $700 for those 500 miles. So a lot, like these dispatchers, some of them are newer, some of them are just office guys. They don't know. Like, you guys have to like help them out. You have to take action. Like, you have to, like, how would you say that? Like, you have to be accountable for yourself, you know? You can't just let them do what they do and then expect that you're gonna make thousands of dollars, because you're not, you know? If you're only looking how much load is per mile, and that load is going up to Northeast, to like Massachusetts, Vermont, and you're not going to be able to grab a reload up there, why would you go up there? Or why would you go to Florida for $2 a mile when you know out of Florida you're going to drive at least 500 miles empty, or you're going to drive for $1 a mile just to come out of there? Like, you have to know that info. Like, you have to be accountable for yourself, you know? If they find a good load paying $2.50 going to Florida and you accept it, and then you go down Florida and then they can't find your load 3 days and you're just sitting there just losing money because that truck is costing you $300 a day. So in 3 days you lost $900. You just lost half of that load and you just lost the whole week, you know? So, like, you know, you have to be accountable. Like, you have to, like, tell the guys, like, you know, like, why would I go to Florida when I can't come out of there, you know? Or if you're going to Florida, they have to pay enough so you can then head back from Florida the 500 miles to get to like Georgia or like whatever, Alabama or whatever is around there, you know? You have to account for that. So if you account how much deadhead you're gonna have to come out of Florida, you gotta make sure that that load is paying enough so you can account for that. So, like, I see a lot of guys, they're like, oh, they're talking like bad about SuperEgo, but really, when you look at every perspective, it's really not their fault. Like, you know, like, they're just doing their job. You know, they're finding you highest paying load for they're looking for highest paying load per mile for you, if that's how you operate, you know. So another thing that I saw, I seen guys are saying like, oh, they're stealing money, this and that. The thing is, let's say like Landstar, C.H. Robinson, and all them companies, they have brokerages, right? They get loads from customers and they sell them to you. Like, nobody's forcing you to take a load. Like, even in your contract, it says you accept a load, whatever it's paying, like, you accept it. You know, they're not forcing you to take that load. Like, you accept that rate, and it's yours. If they have a brokerage and they're getting loads directly for customers, they're basically doing the same thing as when you're calling a broker and getting a load. It's a brokerage, you know? So if you accept a load, paying whatever it's paying, if they got that load from a customer for extra $300-400, that's what C.H. Robinson does. That's what Landstar and everybody else, that's what they do. That's what brokerages do, you know. Broker, they take a percentage, you know. So what else did I see on there? All like, I seen somebody said like they're unprofessional and all that. It's a newer company. They're expanding and growing so fast. You can't expect everybody in that office to know what you need, to babysit you, to take care of you like you're their kid. You know, you can't expect that. Like, you know, there's so many drivers that come. I mean, I think they probably hire like 100 drivers every day. There's like 100 coming in, 50 going out, like every day. There's so much going on. You know, like, where would they find that many employees to work in the office that know trucking, you know? That know every aspect of trucking. They don't. Most of them office people, they don't even know what a truck looks like. Like, that's the thing. Like, you have to be accountable for yourself. Like, you have to know what you want, you know? They can't, you know? How can they help you when they don't know any better, you know? They can offer you the best they got, and that's all it is. If you say yes, that's what you're doing. If you say no, you're going to the next thing, you know? Also, another thing that I see a lot of people doing wrong, these trucks, like, everybody comes in, everybody you talk to, everybody wants either a Volvo, a Kenworth, or a Peterbilt. I've been driving maybe like 6-7 years now or something like that. I don't even know how long I've been driving, but it doesn't matter. Like, for me, what matters with a truck is miles per gallon. I don't care if it's Kenworth, I don't care if it's Peterbilt, I don't care if it's Freightliner, I don't care if it's Volvo. Like, what does the brand do for me? Like, what? So people can see me in a Freightliner on the road, or people can see that I'm driving a Kenworth? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, I drove them all, and I can tell from my experience, all the trucks are pretty much the same. Some have a little more stuff, some have a little less stuff, but they're all the same pretty much. So when I'm looking for a truck for myself, I'm looking that it gets best fuel mileage. That's all I'm looking for, because that's when I'm making the most money. Like, I drove a Freightliner a couple months ago, and the most I ever seen on the clock was like 6.5 miles to the gallon. Accidentally, the Freightliner event for service, and they had like a recovery truck that, like, a driver, they left the truck, I think it was like in Indiana or Missouri. They left the truck and the trailer behind some building when they quit, and it was international with Cummins engine. I drove, first time I got in that truck, I was looking at like the miles per gallon, and it was saying 8 miles to the gallon. So I drove 1 week, I drove 2 weeks. When my truck was done, they were like, hey, you trying to go back to Freightliner? Hell no, I'm not trying to go back to Freightliner. Why would I go back to 6.5 miles to the gallon when I'm getting 8.1 here, you know? I'm saving almost the truck payment every month just in fuel. And I see guys coming, nobody wants the international. Like, people run from internationals like crazy. I mean, even I was against it. Like, it was ugly. I never been in one. Like, accidentally, I picked up a recovery truck, and it was international, and it had the best gas mileage. I had Volvos, I had Peterbilts, I had Freightliners. International with Cummins has by far the best gas mileage. Volvos have good gas mileage. They're like 7.5, 7.8, but these internationals, the new ones, the Cummins, bro, like I'm saving like $2,000-$3,000 a month just in fuel over like the Freightliner and like the Peterbilt. So like a lot of these guys, they're just like, oh, I want a Kenworth, or I want a Volvo, or I want a Peterbilt. Why? What does the brain have to do it? Like, if you're owner, this is your business. You have to treat it as a business. I don't care what the truck looks like. I don't care if it's white, green, or yellow, or like I don't care if it has chrome. Like none of that stuff should matter. Like, it's a business at the end of the day. A lot of the guys, they don't understand that. Like, they want to be in a Peterbilt, they want to be in this, they want to be in that. You're just throwing your own money away. Look. I know a lot of people think like I'm just talking crazy, but look, 16,000 mile average 8.1, 40,000 miles average 7.9. Look, bro, in the Freightliner, I never seen over 6.5. Never. So, of course, I'm staying in this truck, you know? I'm saving $2,000-$3,000 a month. I'm saving the truck payment basically in fuel. I don't care that it's international. Like, I used to hate them. I really don't care. It's a business. It's all about the money, you know? So, what else did I miss? Yeah, like the hiring part and all that. Yeah, they're a little disorganized. Now, I think lately, last time I've been in the office, I think they kind of like put it together now. I think they're a lot better. They're putting guys through like orientation and all that. So I think they're a lot more organized than they used to be. But again, you can't blame them. They're growing so fast. You know, where would they hire all these people that fast, you know? So, yeah, they're a little, they don't communicate that well. You know, they're like, they have an office here. They have an office in Serbia. So like, I think they have like 1,000 employees like in the offices. Yeah, they have real, for some stuff, I think trailer department is probably the worst. They got real bad communication and they're just like crazy. But when you look at it, they got like 5,000 trailers. Like a lot of guys, they see SuperEgo trailers on the road and then they're like, oh, SuperEgo guy, they're driving like crazy. SuperEgo guys are doing this, SuperEgo guys are doing that. It's not SuperEgo guys. Like, they rent trailers. So there's probably like 300 companies out there that rent trailers from SuperEgo. So he actually has to say SuperEgo or like Floyd or like Windy City or like Rocket, Jordan. He actually has to say it on the truck. That's their truck. The trailers, they rent them out to different companies. So when you guys see them on the road, it's not actual SuperEgo drivers that are bad. There's 200, 300 companies, probably even more out there that rent trailers. They probably have like close to 10,000 trailers at least that different companies rent, you know? So a lot of different guys, they make SuperEgo look bad, because I even see them out on the road like they're driving crazy. I seen the one company, I think they're from like New Jersey. They're actually called like Jersey company. I see them guys all the time and they're pretty like reckless and stuff. So when you guys see like trailers catch on fire, like it's not really SuperEgo unless it says it on the truck, because they do rentals. So a lot of these guys, they make them look bad, but it's not really them. They're just rentals. What else is out there? Maintaining your truck. I see a lot of guys making videos like, you didn't get your escrow back, you didn't get this back, you didn't get that back. I mean, if you destroy the truck, what do you expect? Because just because you signed a lease, that truck is not yours till you pay it off. 95% of the lease trucks, they get left behind. People leave them and never finish paying them off. Like 95% of them, you know? So if you destroy your truck and then you leave after 2 years of being on a lease, of course they have to pay for that, because they have to lease that truck back out to somebody else, you know? A lot of you guys, man, I did a couple like recovery trucks, man, like brand new truck with like 40,000 miles, and you guys like destroy them things. Like it's so disgusting that like some drivers, like it doesn't even make sense how disgusting some of these people can be, bro. Like I didn't even go to the sleeper. I didn't even enter the sleeper in my shoes. Like I always enter the sleeper in my socks. I have a carpet in the front. I enter in my socks. You know, like some of these guys, they're right in their boots. They get right in the bed. I got one recovery truck. I found a bucket. When you lift the bed, I found a bucket under there where they go to the bathroom. Like, bro, like how disgusting can you be, man? Like in a brand new truck. Or they get dogs in there, like some nasty dogs, and there's like 1 inch of like gooey stuff on the floor from like the dog, like spit and all that. Disgusting, man. Like you sign a lease, bro. Like that truck is not yours till that truck is fully paid off, and you guys just destroy them. And then you're mad because you didn't get your escrow back. Like, how would you get your escrow back when you left the truck like behind some building and you threw the GPS out and you left it running and it sucked all the gas out, and you know, like guys do some crazy stuff. I just picked up a recovery trailer maybe like a month ago and took it to a truck stop because they couldn't find the trailer a couple months. Like they disconnected the turn signals and they pulled them off the trailer. There was no turn signals on the trailers. Like, bro, like you really stole the lights off a trailer? Like how pathetic can you be, man? You know? And then they like hid the trailer behind the building, ripped all the GPS stuff out so they can't find it. They couldn't find it like 4 or 5 months. And then I think somebody called them and they said, hey, there's one of your trailers sitting back here abandoned for a couple of months. And that's how they figured out where it was at. So I was in the area. I hooked my trailer, hooked up that trailer, and took it to a truck stop so a recovery team can tow it later on. So, like, you know, like they have to be strict because just from all the drivers they deal with, you know, it's like anything that happens to you in a company, it's not strictly because it's not personal, as they say. Like, it's not towards you. It's just they have to protect themselves because it's a business at the end of the day, you know. If they're losing money, all them employees, they have to answer to somebody, you know. So don't take it personal. What else is there? Dispatchers, I think we already talked about that. Like, you have to help them out, you know. You have to explain to them. A lot of you guys, you expect them to find your load, but let's say you picked up a load, you took it to Georgia, and you got there at 12 noon to unload. They're unloading you till 2 p.m. 85% of time when you unload after noon, you're not going to find a load. You just lost a day because you didn't wake up on time to unload. So you can't be mad. How can you be mad at dispatch when it's your own fault? If you unload at 8 a.m. every morning, 90% of the time you're going to have a load to continue. You're not going to lose a day, you know? Or you're late for your appointment. Like, you fall asleep, you're late for your appointment. When I was learning how to drive, when I was starting out, I had 3 of my cousins that started driving before me, so they trained me and stuff. And they always taught me that 5 minutes can decide your whole week. Let's say you're late 5 minutes for your appointment. And let's say you got there, the company closes like 3:30, you got there at 3:35. Well, guess what? You're sitting there till tomorrow to unload that load. You just lost a day. If you had another load lined up, that has to get canceled, and you just messed up your whole week. So at first I didn't understand that till I started driving on my own, and that's when I realized, yeah, really, like 5 minutes can decide your whole week. Just it only takes 5 minutes that you come late and then you don't unload, and then you're mad at your dispatcher because you didn't get another load. So like, you know, you have to hold yourself accountable. Set your alarm clocks. Get there on time. The earlier you get done, the more you can, you know, like the earlier you unload, the sooner you will load and finish driving for the day, you know? Also, the good thing, like let's say you're like at the shipper or like the receiver and you run out of hours and all that, and then you accidentally pass 5 miles per hour because you have to move off the dock door and you go in violation, you know, they'll fix that. Like a lot of these companies, like, bro, you gotta listen to them for like an hour just because you got a violation because you had to move the truck 20 feet and you pass 5 miles per hour, you know? So like that's a good thing. Like they'll help you out, you know? If you're like 20 miles from your house going home and you run out of hours, obviously you're not gonna sit 20 miles from your house, you know? And you're not gonna drive, you know, on personal duty and then get caught, you know? They'll help you out, they'll work with you. That's a good thing about it. I'm trying to think what else is there. If you have a problem with like employees, let's say you have a problem with your dispatcher, you know, you call, they give you the numbers, who you call, whoever the manager is, you call, you ask for another one. You know, like I ran into it too, like some of these guys, like they get pissy and then they try to sabotage you on purpose or like leave you sitting somewhere or something, you know. You just made that call, ask for another dispatcher, and you try it out. If it doesn't work for you, ask for another one. The easiest thing to do is just quit, you know. But trust me, like the grass isn't greener on the other side, you know. You might hear like your buddies and everybody saying like, oh, come to this company, come to that company. They're probably telling you that because they're getting like $500 if they bring somebody else into the company, you know. The grass is not always greener, so nobody's forcing you. You can always ask for another dispatcher. You can always ask, you know, for whatever you need. Like, if they're not helping you out, keep calling until you find, if you need something figured out and they're not figuring it out, they're not helping you out, just keep calling until you get a hold of somebody that will figure it out, you know? Don't just sit there and then just quit because there was something going on, you know? Because they have so much, they got so much going on. They have so many drivers, like they can't, you know? It's almost humanly impossible to get to everybody at times. So you just have to be consistent and persistent and just, you know, you have to know what you want and keep gunning for what you want, you know. Nobody's gonna sit there and be like, hey, you should do this, you should do that. You have to be accountable for yourself, you know. You're a business owner. Take action. Whatever best works for you. But first, you know, like I know they have like the thing where I seen in the beginning when I started, like they don't start looking for another load till you unload, which is a bad thing. If you don't unload most of the loads, if you don't pick up a load between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m., if noon comes, there's about 80% chance that you're going to lose a day. So you basically have to show that you're making it on time. Because let's say they schedule you another load and then you don't wake up on time and you don't unload the first one. Now they have to cancel that load. Automatically, they're looking bad in front of the broker. They might lose a customer, they might lose a broker just over that load. You know, they might put them on no call list over that, you know. So the trust has to be built first. They have to see the way you do your business. Once they see the way you do your business, they have no problem with booking. I had dispatch book me 5 loads ahead, like the whole week, because they know I will make it on time. They know I will unload early in the morning. They know I'll be at the pickup as soon as possible. Like, they know I don't waste time, you know. A lot of you guys, you go to truck stops and then you sit there 2 hours just wasting time for no reason. It's just crazy. So as I said, from my experience, like, I've been doing pretty good. There was a couple of instances where I was like, you know, what is going on, but and all that, but for the most part, you know, the company's growing so quick. There's so many people, there's so many drivers, they can't account for everybody, you know. There's so many employees, you know. You just have to be persistent and to achieve what you want, you know. So I think that's about it. That's about it. I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, the people that say that they can't make money, it's impossible, it's not true. Because I have made money. I mean, there have been some months where I haven't made money, but for most part, I have made money. Because I drive, you know, I don't waste time. I don't sit. If I'm on the road, I'm driving. Like, I'm not going on the road and then sitting somewhere 2 days. Like, that's not happening. Because I don't like to lose a day. So I don't know. Like, from where I see, like, these videos that people make, a lot of that stuff is like personal errors. From what I see, it's just personal errors and personal mistakes where they're just a bad driver. Like, they don't know the business. Like, first thing you have to figure out is your cost per day. If you're sitting, how much is it still costing you? You have to know, like, the overhead. You have to know those simple numbers. Because if you just sit there and you're grossing $4,000 a week and you're burning $1,500 in gas and you got another $1,500 in bills, guess what? You're not going to make no money because you got $1,000 left over for tolls, for tax, for everything. So you're not really going to make money. So if you're sitting there just waiting for $2.50 a mile, you're not going to make money. So hopefully the guys they're out there looking and checking out a company and all that. I just made this video so guys that haven't worked there, they can see. Because I mean, I see videos from guys talking bad. I see, like, some other guys that are talking good, but the stuff don't make sense. I see all kinds of stuff. So I just want to make a video, you know. If you guys check out the company, if you guys want to come and try it out, you know, and you don't have any money, like, rent a truck, you know. Start with rent a truck, couple months, see how it's going, and then decide what you want to do from there, you know. Don't take the bad that you see, like, online and all that. Like, don't take everything as that it's like the truth, you know, because from what I've seen, a lot of that stuff is lies. And also, don't take that you're gonna gross $14,000-$15,000 a week, because that's impossible, especially with this market nowadays. So, like, you have to find that, like, medium and just apply. If you guys need help, let me know. You can leave a comment or whatever. I'll help you. If you want to try it out, come to SuperEgo or whatever, or you need to rent a trailer or something, I can help you guys out. Just let me know. If you guys start working and you guys need help or whatever, just let me know. I will definitely help you guys out. As I said, I've been here about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years, and so far so good. So I think that's about it. If you guys want some other information, just let me know. I tried to cover most of the stuff, the good and the bad, you know. But that's about it. I did have one bad experience. About 5-6 months ago, I had to leave for a week for, like, a funeral. and they like held my last paycheck. They were saying like, I don't know, something's wrong with the bank. They were making all kinds of excuses like we're idiots out here, but you know, we know a little better. But again, they're trying to protect themselves as well. How do they know if you're gonna leave the truck destroyed? You know, how do they know if you're gonna do this, if you just quit, all that? I mean, it's pretty much illegal for them to withhold, like, especially for something like that, for them just to hold your money for a week or 2 weeks or whatever. I know it's illegal and all that, but at the end of the day, it's a business out here, you know? So I think that's pretty much like the only bad thing that ever happened to me. That one time when I left for a funeral and they withheld my money, and then they made like a whole bunch of like lies and some stupid excuses and all that. Like I called the bank and the bank was like, nah, like there was nothing, even like they didn't even try, whatever, you know? So, and I knew automatically that they were withholding it on purpose, because they don't know if you quit or whatever, so they're trying to hold that last money if something's wrong with the truck, this and that, so they can use that money for that. That's the only bad thing that happened to me from what I remember. So, but again, they're like, some of their office is in another country. I don't think they really even know the laws, at least most of them, you know? I'm sure like the bigger guys, like the bigger management owners and all that, I'm sure they don't really know about some of those situations, you know? Like those decisions were made in lower levels of office people, because obviously everybody knows like that's illegal as anything, you know? It's like somebody can just withhold your money, even though like on the contract it says something like for they can withhold, I don't know, a certain amount of money for as long as they want or something like that. That's why every time you guys are signing these contracts and all that, like, you read it, you know, read it closely. Like, a lot of that stuff is on there, you know, if something doesn't make sense and if it's not for you, you know, don't sign it, you know? That's all it is. Once you sign the contract, that's what it is, you know? So hopefully I help somebody, like some of the guys that want to come and try out SuperEgo, and or they see the commercial online, all the advertisements and all the commercials and stuff, and they want to come. From my personal experience, I suggest you guys come and try it, because it's definitely some of these people that have some of these bad reviews, I think it's their personal mistakes, a lot of it. They either don't read the contracts, or they come with no money, and then they start off in the negatives, and then, you know, they can't stay afloat. So I think that's about it. I think we covered most of the stuff. I hope you guys like my channel. I know it's in 2 different languages, and I know there's like agriculture, trucking, and all kinds of stuff on there, but hopefully you guys subscribe and follow my channel, and I'm trying to be more consistent with the videos, and if you guys need anything, just let me know in the comments. Thanks again for watching my channel. Peace.